Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your bonus reading. We're going to do things a little bit differently. I put together all these questions that I'm going to answer in one reading, believe it or not. So each row is going to have a main theme, and then we're going to dive deeper with the questions that are on there. So your first question is, what are you manifesting right now? And this, you have this frog spirit says, clear out the clutter. You have this beaver spirit says, lay a solid foundation here, Taurus. And so I did a reading similar to these like a few months ago, but like I said, we're going deeper. So this is a little bit different, but these are all based off of questions that you all asked on a post that I did a long time ago, if you remember that. So I literally do feel you are cleaning out the clutter in your life, and you literally could be manifesting that at this time with that frog spirit. Now, the other thing I'm getting here is that, frogs go through like a metamorphosis. They start out as tadpoles and then they turn into a frog. And so they start out like in the water. They start out in the world of emotion, but then they enter into like the 3D, I guess, into the real world when they grow legs, right? And they are kind of like grounded in reality, but they still have the emotional side because frogs are environmental indicators, right? I know all this stuff about because I'm a nerd, right? So frogs are like the first thing to die in a environment if the environment is going to crap, right? And so they're still very sensitive to their environment. And bear with me because this is going somewhere, Taurus. I can feel it. So I feel that this is kind of saying that things are going well. You are going through changes, but I also feel that you need to pay attention to your feelings and your emotions. And you really can't make it up here, Taurus, because you have the King of Cups. King of Cups has the deepest emotions out of any of the kings, and he's sitting in the middle of the ocean, and again, he has explored his emotions to a very deep level. But this, the story of the King of Cups, and sorry to skip so far ahead here, but I do think it's important. I feel it's important. The thing about the card is that he's sitting in these choppy waters, but he's perfectly fine. He's not worried about like anything that's going on around him. And so he's not allowing his emotions to get in the way of his manifestation. Well, guess what, Taurus? Your very first card, which is coming up, the question here is what is being drawn in? What are you manifesting into your life? And maybe that's the wrong question for you. By the way, down below in the description is a list of the questions. There's actually going to be a timestamp for each section, along with the 3 questions that each card is going to answer if you want to follow along. But what I would say here is that what I think a better question, maybe it's not really a question. I think that this is more of a statement. I think this card is a statement for you, Taurus. I think that the statement is that your emotions are going to be very important at this time. Now, these are meant to be timeless readings for whenever you watch them, but I do feel like saying for the next about 2 or 3 months from whenever you watch this. So, most of you are probably watching this in August. So for the next 2 or 3 months or so, I feel that you need to keep a close eye on literally how you feel about things. The thing about the Eight of Swords is that she's standing in this very shallow pool of water. She is, and it kind of represents shallow emotions. It doesn't say that she is shallow. It just says that her emotions maybe are shallow, as in she could be making too big of a deal out of something or too little of a deal out of something. She kind of needs to find her like emotional Goldilocks zone, and that's where she's going to manifest best from. That's what I feel for you. That's literally what I'm getting for you intuitively. You have that beaver spirit. It says, lay a solid foundation. It's like maybe that would be a good exercise for you for this month, for the first month. I said the next 2 or 3 months, right? But maybe you should take the first month of the next 2 or 3 months, and you should spend some time figuring out what your emotional set point is. As in, like, how do you want to feel in general? On an average day, if you were to do nothing, if nothing were happening, how would that feel, right? And I kind of feel like doing that will help you actually manifest, believe it or not. Next, we're going to look at how will this manifestation show up in your life. You have the Ace of Swords. What's really crazy is I've done about half these readings so far, and a lot of people have been getting Ace of Swords in this row, in the first row, for what you're manifesting now. And the Ace of Swords, number 1, is like a card of the truth and focus. So literally, I think that how your manifestations will show up is that you will feel more in alignment and you will feel focused. One other thing that I'm really noticing for you here, Taurus, just intuitively I feel this first row for you is very general. For everybody else, it's like they've been manifesting something specific, right? You are very different. Your reading is very different. It feels different especially this first row, I feel that it's not really telling me what you are manifesting. It is saying you can manifest whatever you want at this time. It's more like saying this is how you will know you are manifesting, right? If that makes sense, is that you will be feeling in alignment. You will feel like you're living your truth. You will feel like things are balancing out. I also feel there will be like a general buzz, like a general, flow coming in for you. I also think that like your internal chatter will be going in the right direction as well. So you're going to have to pay attention. Like I catch myself doing this all the time, right? Where it's like all of a sudden things will start going weird in my life. And then it's like if I really think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, like I've been kind of a little bit maybe too negative over the past, few weeks. Maybe I've been thinking in the wrong direction, right? So I do think we have to pay attention to our internal chatter as well. But I think if you do pay attention, like you will notice that you're going more in the positive direction when things are going well. So I would pay attention to that. Next, we are going to look at how can you align faster with manifesting the things you want. And you have the Queen of Swords. Again, clarity. Again, almost every single person has had actually the Queen of Swords in this row as well, which is pretty weird. But, obviously when we know exactly what we want, it makes it a lot easier to get it. So Queen of Swords is clarity. And literally that's all I think you have to do to manifest things more quickly is just get focused on what you want exactly, and then you will get it. What I would say is I would like maybe dive into it a little bit deeper than just saying it's like I think that's how we can manifest faster, is going deeper. As in, if you want something, like let's say there's a car that you're trying to manifest, why? You don't just want the car, right? I like to point out to people, and it's something I actually talk about a lot, actually not here in my top secret group, is what are people's true desires, right? People, when they say they want a specific car, it's not the car they want. They want something deeper. Like if you ask a rich person, why do they want a Ferrari? Most of them, most people can't answer the question, by the way, anyway, like what do they actually want? But the reason that they want that is because it gets them something else, right? Whether that's sexual companionship, whether it's just attention, right? Maybe that's what they really want, the core desire. That's the word I'm looking for. Queen of Swords wants you to know what is your core desire. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with having core desires. We all do, right? So if you want a Ferrari because it's going to make people look while you're driving down the road, fine. Just admit it, right? Admit the truth. And I think that's how you will get things faster. But I'm not saying this is a Ferrari that you're trying to manifest. I think it could be anything. It could be love. It's like, why do you really want love? Do you really want love because you want to be in a relationship, or is that's probably not really what you want, right? What you really maybe want is maybe you don't want to be alone. Maybe you want to have a person that you watch The Office with. Maybe you want to have a person that actually takes you out to dinner. Maybe you want someone to tell you have a nice butt. I don't care what it is. I would get clear on what it is with the Queen of Swords. Again, go at least one step deeper, right, with that Queen of Swords. And very important for you, Taurus. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is about resourcefulness, and I do feel like you could literally be attracting better resources. Frogs are also symbols of abundance as well, so you could be improving your finances here. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Hierophant. You showing up here whenever you show up as yourself puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading, so I kind of feel you're just showing up strong here. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Six of Wands. Definitely victory here. Yeah, I think going that one step deeper is what's going to lead to the victory. Again, this part of the reading is how can you align faster. Going that one step deeper and admitting to yourself like why you really want something is going to lead to a quicker victory, especially when it comes to your manifesting. Next, we are going to look at what is blocking you at this moment, if there are any blockages. You have this Tall Tale card and this Ears Wide Open card. So number one, we see a lot of cards of truth already in this reading, right? So just as like a little bit of a side message, I would say whenever you're watching this reading, make sure that you're really listening to what people are saying. Tall Tale, Ears Wide Open. The Ears Wide Open card says you need to listen to what's not being said. So again, if you're dealing with people, places, or things, it doesn't matter. Don't just take people's words for it, especially if you're watching this in August, at the beginning of August, when we have the Mercury retrograde. Make sure you're also paying attention to what's not being said. I think for you, the blockage here, I really don't feel much of a blockage, maybe just a tiny little one. Like I said earlier, I think it is your self-talk, right? Eight of Wands. And so, and these two cards would be like the story that you tell about yourself. So your very first card in the area of what limiting belief or situation is in the way, I would say it's the Eight of Wands, which is your words. So the Eight of Wands can be communication. It's a card of a quick success or a quick conclusion, but I think the thing that could be blocking you at this time is the words that you use on yourself. This has come up, and it's crazy because this has definitely come up for you before, Taurus, in readings. So I would make sure that you are only using positive words on yourself, and I would make sure that you're focusing in a positive direction, of course, because that's how you'll find the most success. You have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is, of course, equal give and take. Six of Pentacles. This part of the reading is, how did this block form, or why is it persisting? So if you have, I think that based off your past readings, I think you have been dealing with a blockage with your words against yourself for a while, and the Six of Pentacles would be results that you get in life. It's like, obviously, if you are struggling to get results in life, then maybe the words that you use against yourself aren't going to be very positive, right? And so I feel this could be something that needs to be corrected for you, because obviously correcting it will lead to the most success. And so I would try to get into that positive space. The good news here is that we have 2 6s here and 2 6s here. I love 2 6s. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I love 2 6s. 2 6s kind of says you're on the right path. It's like confirmation for your path, and you have it both in both directions, which is very positive. Next, in the area of, we're going to look at what is your way through this blockage, or how can you get around this blockage. You have the 4 cups. Number one, giving yourself credit for results that you have gotten, and also the lessons you've learned. One of my favorite people, Eric Thomas, hip-hop preacher, he says, at the end of pain is success. But his point isn't that we have to go through pain or anything, but his point is get something for the pain that you go through. Most people just suffer through something and they don't get the lesson from it, which is the gold that comes from the situation, right? And that is the 4 cups. We've all been through a lot. 4 cups. He's got these 3 cups here and a new opportunity here. It basically says he's learned from these other things, and now he needs to apply what he learned to a new situation, right? And so again, a lot you can say that a lot of people, well, basically what I'm trying to say is a lot of people, they just keep repeating the same mistake. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've done it. We've all done it. None of us are perfect, right? And so the whole point of this is, instead of repeating something, learn from those mistakes and apply it to the next situation so you don't repeat it. That's where the gold comes from. And I think that will help you the most here, Taurus. With the 8 of Wands, you have the 3 of Wands. Again, the 3 of Wands is expansion. I think that part of, we're looking at what is the limiting belief that's getting in the way here with this 8 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands would also be expansion, believing that you can accomplish more, believing that you can do more. So basically, believe in yourself. With the 6 of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Wands. And so the Knight of Wands is dreaming. Sometimes 6 of Pentacles with the Knight of Cups. Sorry, I don't know what I said. I might have said Knight of Wands. But the thing with the 6 of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups is that it can be getting excited about something and then it doesn't work out, right? And so again, that could be where some of the negative self-talk has come from here, Taurus, is if you have gotten excited about things in the past and then, only to, have it not work out, it can be hard, or it can definitely create a blockage if you're going to try to start something again, right? And so I do feel it's time to kind of let that part of your story go. Next, with the 4 cups, you have the Emperor, and the Emperor is about taking control of the situation. So, and also, the Emperor could suggest that there's going to be a new opportunity coming in for you, based off of something that maybe has disappointed you in the past. But again, you have learned what to do, is what the Emperor is saying. So you need to trust what you have learned, or, trust basically what you've been through. Next, we are going to look at where you are being redirected at this time. You have this Scorpio card. It says the Underworld. It says awaken your inner witch to maximize your potential to connect with universal energies. You have this Entanglement card. It says if you realize you're in entanglement, it may be time to move on or take a break. I don't really feel entanglement energy here. Some of you, obviously, you could be in an entanglement, and, I do feel this is encouraging you to kind of move forward here. Really, this is going to sound weird here, Taurus, but the message I'm getting here is about blending in. It's like, are you being redirected? Yes. I feel like the universe is trying to get you to stop blending in, is what I'm hearing, though. It's like, it's like the universe is trying to get you to stand out more or get more attention. And, I mean, your very first card, you have the Six of Wands. So, sorry, I have to look at my list. So we're looking at what path is closing or becoming unstable. Again, I don't really think this is a path. I think that it's just time for you to stand out, or it's like your time to shine, so to speak, here, Taurus. And that's what that is. I'm like noticing the snake, and the snake is entangled in this bush, right? And it's like, it is surprising how, it is surprising if you've ever seen a snake, that how well they can like hide in a tree, for example, or in the bushes and things like that as well, right? And it's almost like that's what this is saying, is that you need to like come out. You need to get more attention and not blend in. Like, I feel like whatever you're doing is, like, let's say in work or business, like maybe you have a job or a career where it is very easy to get lost in the background, but it's like, what can you do to stand out? What can you do to get more attention? What can you do to be more like a cobra, where it's like you puff up your neck, like you're standing out more. You're not like just like like a little scaredy cat snake hiding in the bushes, It's like you're willing to be confrontational, It's like these things are popping into my head. It's almost like you need to be more bold, aggressive, assertive, confident, all those things, right? And I feel like that's what this is. That's where you are being redirected. It's like the universe is wanting you to do that. It makes sense because we have these Queen of Wands right here. Queen of Wands needs to be bold. She needs to be assertive. She needs to really go for what she wants, and I would. Next, we're going to look at what's the real opportunity that's opening up for you here, and Three of Wands expansion. So obviously, like being seen, standing out, getting attention, probably moving towards like luxuries is popping into my head here as well. It is kind of interesting. I'm getting the word luxury on this card. Normally, the only cards I can in the tarot that are really the cards of luxury are like Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Empress, and that's really it. So, there might be a couple more, but, those are like the cards of luxury. But I feel like there are opportunities that for you to expand and like create more luxury in your life, like meaning having the nicer things. And, I feel this is encouraging like expansion, but it's going to require you to be more bold, more assertive, take up more space, not be shy, all that other stuff. Be a cobra here, Taurus. Next, we are also going to look at why is this redirection ultimately in your favor, meaning like why is it actually good for you. And you have the Six of Swords here because it'll lead to improvements. Six of Swords is moving on to calmer shores. I also feel like you're kind of being removed from something that is no longer really working. And it's also popping into my head that I'm getting a lot of messages for you, Taurus. Like your reading is already going to be longer than everybody else's. I'm getting a lot of messages for you. So I feel like you're being pulled towards something in life that a lot of people might say that you shouldn't move away from. It could be like a job, it could be an opportunity, a relationship, whatever. But I think it's almost like you're going to be ahead of the crowd. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for here. I feel for some of you, maybe even in the future, people will say you're a trendsetter or something because, it just feels to me like you could be being led to make changes that like are going to make sense to people in the future, but maybe not right this second. But I would do it, whatever it is that you're being, I think you're being redirected to take up space, basically. With the Six of Wands, you have the Ace of Cups, and, again, the Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being very happy, so I do feel that this is going to make you very happy. The other thing is some of you are clearly being directed towards love. Your last row here is going to represent love, but, some of you, the path that you're going down is one that's going to lead to, like, love. Next, we're going to look at, again, what is the real opportunity that's opening up for you? And again, Three of Wands. See, I think you're doing something again, but not the same way, right? We kind of said this here with the Four of Cups, where I was like saying you've learned the lessons from those 3 cups. You need to apply it to the new cup. Three of Wands, I kind of feel like this part of the reading is saying you are being redirected to do something in a bigger way. It's like maybe you had an old business idea that didn't work out. It's like I don't think you are doing the same thing. I think you're doing something similar in a better way. The frog. It's like in the past you were a tadpole. Tadpoles are basically useless, right? Frogs are much more effective at life. It's like you are taking something from a tadpole stage, and based off of all the things that you've learned over the years, you're doing it in a bigger and better way. So it wouldn't surprise me, if you're kind of like trying something again, or if you're like reinventing something at this time, like that you've already worked on, but you're doing it in a different way or a bigger way. With the Six of Swords, you have the Fool. Yeah, definitely time to take some sort of leap of faith. The Fool is a very good card for taking a leap of faith in a new direction, but also he has these tattered sleeves on his arms here, and the tattered sleeves kind of say that he's going on a journey that he's been down before. So again, another kind of sign that you're doing something again is what's popping into my head here, Taurus, with this row. So there you go. In the next row, we are going to look at what message does your future self have for you at this time. You have this War card. It says internal conflict and emotional regulation. You have this Classroom card. It says self-evaluation, growth, and performance. So it's like I kind of feel like your future self is saying, I feel also the whole reading is really saying that you're much harder on yourself than anyone is. Like with this Classroom card, it's like, but I feel like it's saying life doesn't grade you. Really. It's like, we get the results we get in life. That's it, And so I feel like you need to realize that. It's like there is no grade that you're going to be getting. Like there is no one that's going to say you're doing a bad job or a good job, really. The only person that can say that is you. And so that's the feeling I get there. Next, we are going to look at what do you need to stop repeating from the past. This is from your future self. You have the Three of Swords. Doing things you hate, really. Three of Swords can be a heartbreak or sadness, but, the Three of Swords is kind of like those swords are in your own heart, and you have to heal your own heart with the Three of Swords. That's what we have to do with the Three of Swords, is we have to remove those swords from our heart, and then we will heal. And I definitely feel that for you here, Taurus, where it's like time for you to heal, time for you to remove those swords from your own heart and kind of like let them go. The Three of Swords also, but again, I feel like it's almost like this reading itself is saying you need to treat yourself better, or, you need to do those things that you should do for yourself, and that could include your health, wealth, happiness, pretty much anything. And even if you have to start small, but I feel, when we do things we hate, then we're not nurturing ourselves. We're not taking care of ourselves. So, maybe that's what you need to do. And start small. Like, obviously there are things, again, there will always be things we have to do that we don't want to do. But, for the most part, is there like one thing that you could eliminate from your life? Like even this week, today, right now, as you're watching this, I would do it, whatever it is. Next, we're going to look at what advice your future self would give you right now. And you have the Queen of Wands. Yes, everything we talked about. Being bold, being assertive, being confident. Those are all things that this reading is begging you to do. This is also a card of learning as you go. And we're definitely in a time of learning as you go. You're the only sign. I've done over half the readings, like I said. And, about half the readings, somewhere around there. I don't know. I lose track when sometimes I go on rampages where I just do like 8 readings in a day, and today is one of those days where I came up with this idea. I got super excited. Probably a terrible idea. Let me know if you like this reading down below, this type of reading. But I got super excited, and then I just can't help myself, right? I just want to do them all. But what I would say is you're the only sign so far that really has kind of said you have to continue to learn as you go, and that seems to be like the theme for you here, Taurus. Next, we're going to look at what part of your life will change the most if you follow all of this. And again, probably your emotional state, which will affect your life just in general with the King of Cups. Again, the King of Cups has very deep emotions, but he's perfectly fine. He is truly in control of his emotions. So, again, we already said it at the beginning of the reading. No need to waste a bunch of time. There is a major focus on you kind of like controlling your emotions, or the reading itself is saying if you control your emotions, things will go well or things will go better for you. So, kind of makes sense there, Taurus, right? But let's see where this is going. With the Three of Swords, you have the Justice card. Justice is kind of like cause and effect, and needing to pay attention to cause and effect. This first part of this row was about what you need to stop repeating from the past. And, so again, if something isn't working out for you, if you are doing things that you hate, you need to stop, right? Justice says you need to create more balance for yourself. I think you need to do more for yourself is really, again, that's not what these cards mean. I read intuitively. If you don't like it, I don't know, too freaking bad, right? But what I would say here is what I'm getting intuitively here, the message I'm getting is that you need to get better care of yourself and like put yourself first. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Death card. Yeah, major change or major transformation. We are in a time of great transformation, but, you have the frog right here, which is a very strong symbol of transformation and change. So you're just going through changes. With the King of Cups, you have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, I think you need to be more adventurous, be more bold, more assertive, all those things that we've already talked about throughout the whole entire thing here. Next, we're going to look at who's thinking of you or does anyone have their eye on you, basically love. You have this ship in this home, so I would say yes, to answer your question, for those of you that want love. And, again, you could be attracting someone from a distance is what I'm getting here. I kind of feel that some of you are attracting a person who's like moving towards you. So, if you are looking for love, it could be a person who's moving towards you. For others, it could be long distance. I also feel if you don't want love, some of you could be moving to a new home, literally. So there could be moving coming in for you in general. You have the Fool, and this is their current energy towards you. So if you are attracting a person, I feel like this person is probably going to take a leap of faith with the Fool card. So for those of you looking for love, there definitely could be a person who's about to take a leap of faith towards you. This would also make sense, again, if someone is moving to where you live, like you might not even know this person exists, I feel, for some of you. And again, this could be a person who's like moving to where you live or something. This could just be the literal move that they are making. If you are moving with the home in the ship in the Lenormand, if you're the one that's moving, then it could also be you. It's like you might actually be making a move without even realizing it. That's bringing love into your life if you want love. And by the way, again, even if you don't want love, I think that this could just be more love entering into your life. But that doesn't have to be a person. That could be a hobby, interest, friends, family, good vibes. So, again, if you're thinking about moving or something, this looks very good here, Taurus. I like it. If you're making any moves, like if you're changing jobs, if you're, doing anything like that, I think this is a very good reading. Next, we are going to look at what do they wish they could say that they are interested. So again, I do think someone has their eye on you already, or, it could be you, but I think that someone has their eye on you. Knight of Cups is they probably want to say, I am your knight in shining armor, Taurus. So it could be a person that like literally wants to make a move. And you're the only person that has had a reading that says you have a person that literally wants to make a move. Everybody else, it just seems like everybody else is just dancing around the issue, right? For you, it seems like there's a person that like legitimately will make a move. Now, obviously, if you haven't been putting yourself out in public, then you're going to have to do that because this person might not know you exist yet if you're not putting yourself out there. Next, we're going to see what is likely to happen between the two of you. You have the Hangman. The Hangman actually isn't terrible because if you're watching this in the beginning of August, we have Mercury retrograde still. So, it could be one of those things where you're going to be, a person could be approaching you at this time, or, you could be just you could be thinking about it, right? I also kind of feel that some of you aren't thinking about love, but again, that's not going to stop a person from being interested. So again, some of you might not even be looking for love, and there could be love coming in for you. And the Hangman to me is kind of like saying that you're focused on other things, and that's probably exactly why love is coming in. You don't have to say yes, as I always say, but again, that's not going to stop a person from being interested. Next, again, in their current energies towards you with the Fool, you have the Page of Wands. Very enthusiastic, very excited. Really good card to get. Again, for those of you that want love, this is very good. The Page of Wands would be someone who follows their optimism, someone who is like more of a happy-go-lucky energy, someone who's more playful, right? So, this could be a person who's like really looking to make a move and looking to be playful and fun and energetic and all that other good stuff. Next, with the Knight of Cups, you have the Eight of Cups. This normally would be about walking away, but number one, if you are watching this in August, again, we have eclipses are going to be starting back up in September, and so this could say that you're actually going to meet this person if you haven't already in around the eclipse time frame, which is interesting. The thing about eclipses is that they can be fate. They can bring in like fated meetings, fated opportunities, things like that, so it kind of makes sense. I also think that this could be a person who doesn't know if you're single or not. So I don't know. Maybe you need to change your Facebook to single or whatever instead of like it's complicated or whatever you have it set to right now here, Taurus. So I don't know. There you go. With the Hangman, you have the Nine of Swords. Yeah, it's like someone's got to get out of their head here. I think this is you. I actually feel, again, I'm not telling you what to do or anything here, Taurus, but again, if you want love, I would say, like I would open up to this person. I mean, again, not telling you what to do. You can do whatever you want, but, it's kind of like this is saying to me that you might hesitate. You don't have to marry the person. Just go on a date, right? And just see how it goes. If you're looking for love, like I don't know, I'm wondering if maybe you're like I don't think you're not attracted. I think you might just be a little bit more unsure at first. And I kind of feel like this is saying this might be one of those situations where if a person asks you out, whether you want to or not, might be a good time. Just give it one chance, right? It won't kill you. And it's like if you're afraid. Speaking of being killed, if you're afraid the person's a serial killer, meet the person in public. Have your friend go with you and have them sit somewhere else, right? Don't invite your friends on dates with you, right? That's weird. But what I would say is like have them go sit behind a bush in the corner or something and have, give them an extra can of bear spray, right? There you go. You're protected, right? When they invite you over to their mom's house, don't go, right? Plain and simple. You will probably end up murdered in a basement. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. So, don't do it. But again, if things go well, different story. So, yeah, there you go. Rant over. Looks pretty good, Taurus. I like where this is going. Let me know what you think of this type of reading down below. I already see some things I want to change about it, but I don't know. Kind of interesting. I kind of like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.